Hi, my name is Nicholas Haggerty and I'll be performing this multimodal based on the question: evaluate how effective The Handmaid's Tale and V for Vendetta are in presenting a cautionary tale for the future. Through the use of characters' dialogue, quotes, and the overall image of society, these dystopian writings highlight the lack of freedom with a totalitarian-led government. Both speculative texts adopt elements of context and time to warn its audience of the future based on current issues. Throughout this multimodal, the issues associated with the totalitarian regime taking power and how society can retake control of their lives are closely analysed. Throughout The Handmaid's Tale, the abuse of power and influence on the government regime is highlighted within the novel. The commanders undoubtedly possess authority over the handmaids, which is evidently expressed within the text displaying the superior power held by the men. Because they have such a strong overpowering status in the chain above, women are afraid to interrupt the ongoing difficulties created by the men. Toxic dumps and radiation spills, they figure you've got 3 years maximum at those, before your nose falls off and your skin pulls away like rubber gloves. Through the use of metaphor, the idea of fertility and lack of it, which can be critical considering the women are portrayed as incubators or useless. The commander's authority over the infertile woman caused the women who are owned by the commanders to be concerned about their future, and as a woman there is a sense of uncertainty through the novel. Similarly, the use of power in V for Vendetta is crucial to maintain control over society. Within the movie, the totalitarian British government placed a curfew on the nation in the hope to keep society safer. A yellow-coded curfew is now in effect. Any unauthorized personnel will be subjected to arrest. This is for your protection. This projected voice, which is delivered nationwide, informs society to restrict themselves from leaving their houses. This was put in place in order to create a sense of safety. However, that is the opposite of what is occurring. The unnecessary curfew which was put in place impacts the individuals including Evie, who are still walking the streets with the personal profile of a so-called criminal. Hence the curfew is still active. Reinforcing the curfew removes the freedom and rights of individuals present during this time. As the audience, we are able to judge the extreme power and control displayed by the government. Within The Handmaid's Tale, patriarchal society and gender submission has been highly recognised throughout. People within Gilead live under the strict roles ran by the men. Thus the men are expected to handle society, whereas women must cater to the needs of children and commanders. I avoid looking down at my body, not so much because it's shameful or immodest, but because I don't want to see it. I don't want to look at something that determines me so completely. Through the technique of perspective, this quote highlights the inadequate treatment towards Offred by the men within her society. The inadequate treatment of the handmaids is illuminated as they are used as child bearers to minimize the troubles and pain required from the commander's wives during birth. V's identity is never revealed in the film because he is an idea of a better world, not a person. The mask symbolizes the people's strength and the power of coming together behind a collective purpose, whatever that goal may be. Through the quote, "You wear a mask for so long you forget who you were beneath it," he explains, discussing his sexuality. People have become so used to social standards, belief, and ethics that they have no longer their own voice for action, which is instead obscured by capitalist ideas. V's expertise of critical theory is demonstrated effectively in his revolutionary speech. He is able to recognize the government's injustices and abuses of power while functioning as a symbol of resistance. To be prepared in everyday life, an individual must be aware of society's potential to change. I examined this idea by analysing 2 cautionary texts, The Handmaid's Tale and V for Vendetta, both which refer to similar changing values to the misuse of power and political control, as well as the loss of identity, which are both referred to in the current society, providing us with a foretaste of what could possibly become realistic in the near future. Thanks for watching.